Valamogolis, everybody's Hype Watch is back here again for another Game of Thrones episode. This one for Season 7, episode number 3, Queen's Justice. And as you can see, we got our awesome panel here tonight, and we are so glad to have everyone here. So, let us take it to ladies first, joining us all the way from España, Tinker Jasso.
Hello everyone, I'm glad to be back. If you saw my review, I did not like the last episode, but I actually really did enjoy this one, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Awesome. And, of course, ladies' man himself, Sir L.T. Giles.
I hate it. I'm just joking. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I gotta say. That's what I'm talking about. I do have some gripes with this episode, but a lot better.
All right. And, of course, our resident show realist, I call him the show hater for the most part, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat. What's going on?
Just keeping it real, bro. Let's get this party started.
All right. So, this one, we start off on Dragonstone with the arrival of John and company. They're greeted by Tyrion and Missandei, where they kind of have a little bit of a back and forth. And John and company are asked to hand over their weapons before being walked into the throne room. Now, on their way there, they make a bunch of small talk, and there is a scare by Drogon when he flies over. And obviously, this is something that Daenerys' people are used to after all this time. You know, John and Davos, not so much. And before we get in there, we actually see Melisandre and Varys have a little powwow of their own, where Mel says that she is destined to die in Westeros, as is Varys. So before we go inside the throne room, I want to get everyone's comments just on the beginning before there's the exchange between John and Dany. Tinker?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So, wow, there's just so many things that happened here. I kind of like the conversation between Varys and Melisandre. It was kind of weird because Varys clearly wanted her like out of there like so badly. You can clearly see that he was not a fan of Melisandre. But you know how she said, she's so, and she didn't say Westeros. She says in like a strange land or something of that sort, she said. And I was like, at the beginning, I was like, when she said that she was leaving, I was like, oh, come on, don't leave yet. She always brings something interesting or weird, even if I'm not in favor of many of her ideas, like what she did with Shireen. But I kind of found it interesting how she said that she was destined to die. And I was like, and I'm certain that she's going to end up back in the wall because that's where the enemy is. But it just made me think that maybe we're going to have a spectacular Melisandre death this season that might power something. Because after all, she's all about sacrificial death. And I really liked the moment when Drogon appeared and John and Davos kind of threw themselves to the floor. And they were like seeing, and they were like, because I was thinking that would be completely my reaction. If a dragon suddenly appeared like, I found that very realistic. I kind of really like that.
True indeed. LT, your thoughts on, the opening before we get into the throne room?
Oh man, it was just awesome to see Tyrion and John, shaking hands and at first looking mad at each other and then smiling like they're old friends. And when Drogon went by and they fell, John looked like, what the fuck? It was priceless. His face was priceless. And as far as the scene with Melisandre and Melisandre and Varys, Varys' face was priceless when she said, you were going to die in Westeros. And it's like, what does that mean? I'm kind of confused by it, I mean, we'll see what happens, but his face, two straight scenes, we had two priceless faces, in my opinion. Take it away, Jerry.
I mean, it was mostly solid, like for some of the reasons that Tink and LT said. Although it's kind of weird that Davos. There's no mentioning of Tyrion being the cause for Davos' kids dying. You would think Davos would be like, "Fuck you, fucking murdered my son. Fuck you. You think he would say that, but nah, it was kind of weird also hearing him say such pretty butterflies, since those butterflies kill people from Narth, or Nath. What is it, Nath? Nath, right? Yeah,
Nate, this is how do you pronounce it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, George said you can pronounce it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering what Davos was referring to when he said, what changed the Dragonstone? Maybe that one banner? He's like, spotted. It's not there no more.
Oh, well, no. He said things are different. I mean, you got to think about it. You know, there's no red priestess talking about we need to burn anyone who's not a follower of R'hllor.
Well, she technically is there, so.
I mean,
I think
yeah,
all
but
of
he
the
doesn't know that.
Dothraki is what he means. That all of the
Maybe that's what he meant.
the girl from the North, then all the Dothraki is like, that's definitely not how Dragonstone used to be run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Why can't we get Melisandre saying this one something, like she does in the books, man? I don't know why they cut that out. She hadn't said that once.
And then, I mean, at least there was a mention of Tyrion and Sansa that they did have a marriage. I mean, we all know it's more complicated than that, but, the show is simplifying things, so, whatever. Just don't even worry about making sense. And then at least there was a mention of how, like, that someone's actually thinking about, like, how Jon became a Night Watch recruit to a king. You would think, like, oh, wait, he was part of the Night Watch. How did he get out of that oath? At least it's being mentioned. It still hasn't been really. He's not explained it to anybody.
I mean,
well, enough time for all that, Jerry. There's not enough time for that.
Well, listen, we're gonna get to that because I do want to touch on the Dany and John stuff a little later because that does kind of get brought up just a little bit, but in a different way. But well,
hold on, let me finish the Varys and the Melisandre scene. That was, I do like how she said it was kind of cheesy how she said let's bring in fire. I brought fire and ice together, but you know what? At least it was better than it's like we're some kind of suicide squad. At least it's better than that. But. And, that whole thing, I think that was a shout out to the books where she said, I need to die in Westeros just like you, as, both of them have roots in Westeros. Dany, or Melisandre, likely the daughter of Bloodraven and Cersei Star, and, Varys very likely being a Blackfire, which means he has Targaryen roots from Westeros, so.
Okay.
I think that was a shout out to that. Even though he doesn't have that in the show, I think they're trying to pay a little homage.
I think you just want to read that much into it, Jerry, but I don't think the show is trying to be so complex.
I think they're just trying to throw a little. They like to do things like this sometimes. They'll throw a little piece out there, but they're not. It's just there for one little. For just that. That's it. Like a nod to book readers.
Alright, so after that, finally we go inside with Dany and John. And the crazy thing about this was, alright, so you got John and Davos walking in, they're being escorted in, everything's kind of dark and dreary. Daenerys is sitting there on the throne. Missandei walks over and just starts rattling off title after title after title after title. And then Davos is like, yeah, this is Jon Snow, he's king of the north. So that was actually kind of funny to me. And Daenerys, I mean, look, I don't know if they're trying to hint that she might be, kind of a little bit on the Mad Queen side, because the way that she came off, it was just, real kind of entitlement, and it's just like, yeah, I am going to be the biggest bitch to John I can possibly be, if he's not here to do what I tell him to do. And then they start getting into a squabble about, whose war is more important at the moment. And yeah, before we get to John basically really kind of pleading his case as much as he possibly can. Any thoughts on the John and Daenerys interaction, especially where she's basically, basically threatening him, like, look, if you don't bend the knee, I'm going to come back and destroy your kingdom. LT, I want you to start this one off.
If I ever wanted to wring Daenerys' neck, it was in this scene. I cannot stand her in this scene. She was just getting on my nerves with this entitlement and bend the knee and all this. Like, just, you don't know the importance of this, what's going on, and she doesn't want to hear it. And just, oh man, yeah, I just couldn't stand her in this scene, man. Like, she was really annoying. Super annoying. And yeah, the whole just King of the North, like, yeah, she's all these titles, but just King of the North, yeah. So we're just talking about that. We're not talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna later. Talk. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a moment.
Right.
Jerry, your thoughts on this kind of openings. I don't even know if I call it a chess move, but peacocking.
No, it was kind of a chess move, and I thought she generally played like your chess move how you would expect to play someone. I mean, I don't really have too much of a problem. I mean, yeah, she's got a fuck ton of names. We all know this. But you know what? She's trying to show her power, trying to get him to bend the knee, and that's how you do it. So I don't really have too much of a problem with that. I thought it was a little bit ironic when she called herself the last Targaryen. It's, again, you know how they think they're being clever. These guys, they think just like I mentioned earlier with that "will die here." Well, now they're being clever. They think they're so clever. But yeah. Anyways, and then. What really kind of bothered me about this scene, which has been bothering me this whole time, why the fuck is no one making a bigger deal about people being dead and like coming up? They should have been like, wait, what? Right. You said dead? Dead, you say? There's actually, wait, huh? People are rising from the, wait, what? You would think, but no, that she just glosses over. So, oh, there's dead people? Well, you know what? Let me just tell you more of my names, and then we'll talk about bending the knee instead of, holy shit, people are rising from the grave.
There's no
mention of that.
But you got to think about it, Jerry. You think about it, so they don't believe him. They don't believe him.
I mean, it's okay they don't believe him, but you would think, be like, wait a minute. We think you're talking crazy here, so why don't you just, it should have been, whether it should have been like in a surprise, like, or it should have been like in a major disbelief. One or the other. It shouldn't have had a no reaction, which is pretty much what it had here. And I don't know why John is still not saying, I died and I'm back to life, and it's because of this fucking red priest that I'm here. If he would have said that, then that really would have sparked some things, because they would have been like, wait, did you say red priest?
Oh, come on. If they don't believe him about the army of the dead, if he says, I died and I came back to life, they thought that he'd be even crazier.
Well, right. They already think he's crazy, but you want to put it all on the table. You'd be like, hey, look, and he said it. I understand I'm talking crazy, but look, this is what's happening here. We sent, and then they should have mentioned how they sent fucking Thorne out there and like, hey, we tried to tell you, Tyrion, and you just kind of blew him off before. But
this is true. This is true.
Tyrion fucked up.
All right, Tinker, your thoughts on the Daenerys and John back and forth?
I actually think it was very well done, because the fact is that there is a lot of things between both families. It's a very tricky situation. She's come to be the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. He is the king of the North. He cannot say, I'm bending the knee, because he would be disappointing all of his northern lords, and he doesn't know her, and there is a lot of issues between them. And at the same time, she cannot just say, okay, you can go to the North, I'll give you all the aid, and you can keep going as the king of the North, because that would make her weaker. And neither of them know each other. There's a lot of bad blood between their families, and it is a very, very tricky situation. So I actually think that they maneuvered quite well, both of them, the entire situation. And and as Danny, as Jerry said, she's trying to, she wants to be the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, a kingdom that is now in pieces, and she's coming with a lot of foreigners. She has to show her power. She cannot just simply acquiesce to everything and everyone. So she has to, and she has come taken with a past that is very tricky. Her father was mad. He did a lot of monstrous things. So she cannot go as a monster and burn everyone to death, but she cannot go as a weakling and let everyone walk all over her. So it's not an easy situation for her to maneuver. And I've got to give her props. She actually said she was sorry for everything that her father had done. Kings rarely admit things like that and actually just full on say sorry. How many kings have we seen do that? Or lords? They just kind of, be silent. They're like, oh, well, that was not me. She actually honestly go ahead and says it. And I've got to give her props for that.
I mean, well, look, the only reason why she said, not the only reason, but I'm guessing the primary reason why she said it was like, okay, this dude is being apprehensive about bending the knee right now. He's coming to me and telling me about the atrocities that my father committed. Okay, let me give him something so that he knows that I'm not the one who's sitting up here and trying to do all the crazy shit that my father did. So let me just say on behalf of the family, look, yes, my dad was a nut, and I am absolutely sorry for what he did. But let's not forget that your family swore an oath to my family in perpetuity. So you being here means you're supposed to bend the knee, period, point blank, or else, I should just kill you. Which is basically kind of what she was saying, and I was like, might be just a little harsh there, Danny. Just a little harsh. But moving right into when Davos. Real quick, Jerry. What do you got to say?
Well, first I want to shout out to Lucifer Means Lightbreaker. He's in the chat. He's in the chat here, and talking a lot of sense. One thing that I noticed is John seems to somehow agree with Danny's stupid strategy, and I gotta agree with the LML here. It's like, yeah, this strategy makes no sense. They should take it by force. Whatever her strategy was will just lead to even more deaths. It's how Aegon did it. It's how, it's a smart way to do it. And if John was really smart, he would have offered a marriage proposal right away. To that's the quickest way to okay, I'll bend the knee for marriage proposal. That's how things are kind of done in this society, and that's how things are generally done in the books. So
but the only thing about it is Westeros has not had a king consort ever, and so I think
first time for everything.
There's a first time for everything, but I don't think you want to run the risk of, okay, I'll propose to you. I'll be your king consort, and then the next thing you know, there's more infighting later because people will give me okay, well, there's a guy here. He should be king. You're married to a guy who was king in the north. He should now be king of the Seven Kingdoms because he married you. But
that's peace issues you're worrying about here,
right? But listen,
that later.
Yeah, we can get to that. Another time.
And he can't really do that without talking with his lords. His lords are already pissed enough that he actually went down south. If they heard he had a marriage proposal with a Targaryen at that, come on, he actually, his
you
lords.
can fix that with the marriage to Sansa to one of the lords. That's easy.
Sansa's going to agree after what happened, and John.
Hey, it's called playing her role.
True indeed. But let's move it along. We get the report from Varys that Euron has came through. He's attacked the Iron Fleet. The Dornish are lost. The Greyjoys are lost. And then we get a quick shot of Theon being pulled out of the ocean, where I'm not even exactly sure, where he was supposed to be. I guess somewhere in the narrow sea. Maybe around Shipbreaker Bay or something like that. And then we get Euron, who is parading his captives through King's Landing into the throne room, where we see Darth Mountain, and he presents his two of his three captives to Cersei. Now, another funny back and forth, absolutely hilarious. Not even really back and forth. It was really Euron just taunting the shit out of Jaime. So, Tinker, I want to get you first on this one. What did you feel about that whole sequence of events?
Why the fuck are they even cheering for him? what the hell do they know about Euron and what he's done? And what do they even know about Ilaria and the Sand Snakes and Yarn? Like, what the hell? What the hell are they even cheering? It's just, that part of it was like, I didn't like it. And really, was it actually necessary to have Ilaria and Nonopara and Numeria? Tyene have be disrobed like all open. Like, really, was that necessary? That kind of grated me a bit, but I've got to admit I cannot be objective because I hate Euron. I hate his guts, and he was like so smug. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy it when he dies. And when he goes, I've got to admit I kind of liked it when Cersei was like, oh, you'll have your prize when the war is over. And I was already thinking, okay, she's already going to be thinking of a way for him to die so she doesn't have to marry him. This idiot, he doesn't even know that she's going to stab him in the back. Because, come on, we've already seen later on how Cersei's not even caring what people think about at this point. There's no way she's marrying Euron. But I've got to admit that I'm very frustrated with Jaime. The fact that he's not waking up, that he's being complete Cersei lapdog it's grating my nerves. So I kind of liked it a bit when Euron was kind of dinging it to him, saying, "Ooh, how does she like it?" and all of that. Because I'm like, really? See, wake up, idiot! Wake up! Stop being his lapdog and take away the collar and leash he has over you.
True indeed. Sir LT.
Yep. Yeah, Euron's winning me over, man. Like, this dude is hilarious. He's so funny. Like, he's on the horse and, just coming through and this is what the life is. And even when he gets in the throne room, this is what the life is. And this is hilarious. Like, he's a comical villain and it's making me laugh. And the things he said, I'm not going to mention one of the things he said, but the thing he said when he's on the horse was hilarious. And yeah, this is funny.
All right.
That's all I got to say about that. Oh, I want to make a quick question. Take back to 13th century our times. If whoever the head of the Scottish were came to England and told them that the dead were rising, do you think he would believe him? I don't think so.
I mean, no, but listen, Daenerys has dragons. Okay, she's seen the House of the Undying. I mean, it's not like she hasn't seen things that should make her more susceptible to believing that there might be an army of the dead out there somewhere. I could see the Maesters not believing that. I could see other lords of Westeros not believing that. But the one person out of everyone who should be like, you know what, he might have something to all this is Daenerys. She's the one person that should believe that.
One more thing. I think that's the first and last time we're ever going to see anybody spit at the Iron Throne in this series.
Yeah, not if they want to keep their teeth. I don't think that's going to, yeah. All right, so, Jerry.
Well, prior to this scene, I wanted to say, man, Theon looks like shit. And that's funny. I like how they called him out on that. But as far as Euron, I get exactly why they're cheered for him on the street. The guy's a fucking comedian. He's a fucking comedian. Like, he's got all the jokes. It's like if Dave Chappelle's walking down the street. You want to cheer him on. Like, hey, I want to hear those jokes. Tell me some jokes, buddy. Euron is just full of jokes right now. He's not a real menacing villain, but you know what? He's comical at this point. Like, if you forget that you're watching Game of Thrones or something related to Song of Fire, and you just think about it as a comedy, and you put a laugh track in it, Euron will fit right in here with his jokes that he's telling all the time. It's kind of like when George Clooney played Batman. It wasn't any good, but at least it was funny. So,
oh my god,
Euron's doing thing like hey. What is it? The thumb in the bun and all that. He's a bad credit card. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Cersei with more stupidity acted like playing playing a card where she has no leverage of power at all, and the only thing that's going to save her is some bad writing. But at least it was acknowledged how stupid she was being later by the Iron Bank. But we'll get to that later. But you're on with jokes. We got jokes here.
She's being much smarter than she's ever been.
No, she's fucking retarded. Any way, like
she actually
her strategy is like goes against every like scientific thought of
Joe,
game
if you go later in this episode, it does look like she's smarter.
Well,
like
no,
later in
it only looks like that because of bad writing. If we're talking, that's the only reason. The only reason her thoughts are saved is because of bad writing. Like game theory wise, she's playing like an idiot.
All right, well,
she's kind of winning everything.
Yeah,
well, that's because of bad writing. I mean,
and she's much smarter than she was in the books. Come on, she wouldn't have been able to do this maneuvering in the books, even if she wanted to.
Well, that's because George R. Martin does logic in the book. So yeah.
All right. Let's move it along here because we have a very torturous scene. We got Cersei who taunts Ilaria Sand and tells her, basically she's like, look, I loved my daughter. I breastfed her myself. You killed her. Why did you kill my kid? Like, she didn't do shit to you. I understand that we're enemies. I understand that, you look, but you fucking killed my damn kid. And she was like, hey, look, I got Darth Mountain standing right here. Could have him, pull out the lightsaber and just chop your daughter in half. Or could have him crush her skull, do all this foul shit to her. But you know what? I am going to give her the same thing that you gave my daughter. And you're going to have to sit here and watch it until the end of your days. And the long farewell. And yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't even know what to say about that one. LT, you're gonna start this one off.
Tinker, go ahead. I'll be a gentleman. Let the lady go first.
Thanks, LT. I really want to talk about this because, oh, fuck Cersei. Like, she really knows how to be cruel. The bitch. Like, that's like the cruelest thing she could ever do. But I've got to give her props. Like, telling Etienne the same way that Ilaria killed her daughter and then forced her to watch, and then you see them both change, like trying to get mother to daughter. Like, oh, that bitch. I'm just hoping that, and I do like the Martell version of the show, like the show's version of the Martells. You know what I mean? I made it very clear in a video and everything, but this is just what. Oh, I'm really gonna enjoy when Cersei dies. I'm really, really gonna enjoy it because she's kind of like blaming the Martells for what they did, and I think it was stupid what they did with Marcella. I think it was just dumb because that's just asking for Cersei to come for you. But to be fair, Cersei started everything. It's like she's not even realizing that she's the root cause of every single thing that's happened to her later on, which is what I cannot wait and speak. Like, when we get to the High Garden part of this episode, can I be the first to speak? Because, I loved Olenna. That was just like, I thought it was really cruel in a very, but I'm hoping that at least it means that Yara and Ilaria can be rescued, just because I don't want Cersei to be so smug.
Okay, all right. LT. You gonna take it now?
I'm sorry, Tinker. I'm the complete opposite. I think Aloria deserves every bit of what she's getting. It's her fault that she put her daughters in a situation. She took a rebellion that shouldn't have happened, and she put her daughters in a situation. So it's her fault, and she gets what she deserved. It's fortunate for Tyene, she's gonna have to die slow, and her mom's gonna have to watch it. But something tells me that it's possible. I don't know why, but something tells me that they might have the antidote somewhere inside. I know that's wishful thinking. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think they deserve it for Dorne being a debacle, and good riddance to Dorne, because I hope we don't have to see him no more.
Okay, all right, Jerry.
I can tell you why you got that feeling, LT. But first, I want to say, man, Cersei ain't even trying anymore. She's just like, hey, yeah, the mountain's here. We're not even gonna hide it anymore. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Strong? Nah, we don't need to worry about Strong. No, there's no Robert Strong.
Yeah, she's like beyond caring, isn't she?
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
Don't give a fuck no more. And then the rest of the scene, it is obvious. It is obvious that Dan and Dave heard that Dennis Villeneuve is the front runner for being the new Bond director, and they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see, we want to be the next Bond director, so how about we give you a Bond villain right here, and we'll have Cersei do a Bond villain monologue, and that's why you hear it, LT. This comes straight from like something you'll see in James Bond, and they always have the antidote in those, so that's why you feel that way. Got Cersei the Bond villain.
So Jerry, you're saying that they are gonna have the antidote hidden on them or something, or Braun's
Well,
gonna
I'm not
save
saying
them?
they are. I don't know. I don't know how far they're going for this Bond tryout, but we'll see.
Man, listen, no, Tyene is dead, bro. Forget about it. There ain't gonna be no rest.
She's not dead till we see it on camera till she's finally dead. Well, you gotta admit that.
Listen, look, you know what's gonna wind up happening? We're not gonna see Ilaria for like maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and then like either episode 6 or episode 7, Cersei is gonna go back down there and be like, "Oh, you're still here. Don't worry, you're gonna be here for much longer. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. Oh, how's the food? Oh, look at your daughter. I know, right? It's fucked up, right? We're not even gonna bury her. She gonna stay there in them chains. I know. It's fucked up. Anyway, I got shit to do. I'll see you later."
You know what I would do if I was Cersei? I would use Tyene as a hostage and force Ilaria to do some turncloak shit on Daenerys or something. I would force her, be like, "I got your daughter here and she's dead if you don't like go to Dragonstone and lie to Daenerys and some kind of turncloak shit." Oh, that's what I would do if I was Cersei.
Look,
nah, I don't think they would fall for that.
It's obvious, even if that she does have the antidote, Cersei's just gonna come back and be like, "Okay, we're dropping her in this puddle, and then she's gonna get eaten by sharks with freaking lasers on it." That's what's gonna happen.
All right. Let's move on from this one. All right. So after this, we get teen twincest. I mean, why did I say teen twincest? No, I'm tripping. I'm sorry. My notes. No, man, it's freaking damn autocorrect and fucked up like half of the words here because it doesn't recognize Westerosi. But yeah, we get twincest, and it followed by a visit from, I believe that's supposed to be Tycho Nestoris from the Iron Bank. So we get a nice little powwow between Cersei and the Iron Banker about how he wants to back them. And this was the one thing, I'll be honest with you, this scene bothered me not for the sentiment, but for the fact that Cersei mentioned the slave trade and the Braavosi.
I wanted to mention that. I have that in my notes.
Yeah, the Braavosi seemed to have invested in the slave trade. I'm like, whoa, hold on here.
Completely false.
Yeah, Braavos was founded by escaped slaves. Why would they be investing in the slave trade?
They're permitted not to deal with. They are permitted not to deal with slavers in the book.
Now that's bad writing, Jerry, and you could take that to the bank.
Well, I don't know. That's called bad, lore again.
But yeah, you know what, Jerry? I want you to take this one. You are the numbers guy.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much just what I was going to say. They were founded by slavery, so Braavos is the one city there that doesn't permit slavery, nor do they permit trade with Slaver's Bay, which should, just proves that Dan and Dave do not read the books, which is, we all know that by now, so there's no use talking about it. I just hope, though, in the scene before, Cersei got all that lipstick off before she went down on Jaime, or else that's going to suck for Jaime.
Oh man, yeah, dying from the waist up or the waist down, yeah, that would be really, really bad. All right, Tinker, your thoughts on the Iron Bank visit?
As you said, the whole thing with the slave trade, I was like, huh? From the books, but I think at this point they just don't care, and since they know that the majority of the people are not gonna know because they haven't read the books, they're like, well, they needed an excuse for, they needed something for Cersei to be able to say, to have it in her favor, because she clearly doesn't have the money to pay them back. But as I said, they're trying to make her look smarter than she was before. So like the whole speech is very well delivered. And it is true, if they had, the whole slave trade and all of that, it would, they wouldn't want to back Daenerys. And right now it's between Daenerys and her. So they kind of needed that. And it's weird how they're making her, at least to me, it seems that they're making her smarter than she was. Certainly smarter than she was in the books. She wouldn't have been able to have an argument like this in the books. Can you imagine the certain book Cersei having this kind of conversation? She would not have liked at all. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last at all. And it did kind of bother me. But what I do have to mention, it's like a minutia, but I found it very, very funny when the servant, when the knocks and she opens and she has the exact same haircut as Cersei. I can just completely imagine her making like all of her ladies' maid or all the other female servants have her haircut like her, so she's not the only one with like short hair. I found it kind of really funny. I found it really, really funny. And she's like Jerry said, at beyond this point, she's like not caring shit. Because Jaime's like, they cannot catch me here in bed. And she like doesn't care like at all. She's like beyond caring like in any sense. But things are going way too easy for her. Way too easy and way too fast. Things gonna have to start changing, because if not, it's gonna look like she's got like the best look in the world, or she's become like a genius suddenly, or precognitive of something.
I want to say though that there's a reason why that book Cersei wouldn't make this argument, because it wouldn't work in the books. The Iron Bank isn't as stupid in the books as they are here. There's no reason for the Iron Bank to take Cersei at word, or even to back her, because she doesn't have the odds with her. So, I mean, they're just playing stupid, and it's just, bad writing saving Cersei.
Okay. LT, your thoughts on this one?
I mean, this is hard to talk about because Jerry's just saying that the odds, but if you look at what happens there in this episode, it's looking pretty good. And if I was Tycoon Daenerys myself and I saw what happened at this episode, I'd be a happy camper. But no, yeah, I agree. Why is he backing Cersei? You would think that he'd back somebody else. And Jaime just can't stick to his guns, man. He can't stick to his guns. He's telling her no, and then he just lets her. Basically, she took him, and he can't stick to his guns. He's a weak man.
I mean, well, look. You know what my thing is? I have no problem with the Iron Bank backing Cersei. My whole thing is this kind of goes against the established lore. And I'm pretty sure even if you look at the history and lore extras on one of the DVDs, it probably says, like, hey, with the Iron Bank and we were founded by escaped slaves, this, that, and the third. So, I mean, like I said, my big thing was the fact that they threw in that Daenerys, broke down Slaver's Bay, and that the Iron Bank had investments in Slaver's Bay was the only thing that kind of threw me off about this scene. It was a good scene. I think the Iron Bank's reasoning should have been, we escaped from Valyrians and their rule with dragons. We're not trying to have another Valyrian with some damn dragons come back.
I just want to point out, as someone who's worked in investing, investing consultants, and also worked in insurance, it's kind of like actuarial interning, but as someone who's actually done that, I can tell you these are not how these men work at all. I can tell you they're not stupid.
And as Jerry was saying before, I'm beginning to wonder with what we've seen in here, if did Dave and Dan just read the first 3 books and just read an outline of A Feast for Crows and A Dance of Dragons. Possibly that's what they did.
They just hire like an actuary. They'd be like, wait, what? People don't act like this? Huh? Oh my God.
I mean, well, you know what? Hold on. I want to go back. I saw something in the chat here, in fact, that I almost forgot about, from Christoph Kleemeyer. And yeah, Cersei was like, give me a fortnight and the Iron Bank is going to have all this money. I'm like, hold on. Whoa. 2 weeks? 2 weeks? You're telling me you're going to be able to pay back the loan or whatever the Iron Bank is owed by.
The final scene, High
I mean,
Garden.
does
Did
High
you see
Garden
what they were
have?
piling? They were piling gold.
I mean, is it? I'm wondering, is it that much though to pay off the entire?
Probably a
The
start. It's
entire
probably a
debt?
good start. You know, to
You know
make
what,
the
Don
Iron
Willie?
Bank happy.
It
Oh, come on.
wasn't,
With
but
the writing of Dan and Dave, of course they're
There
going
you
to
go.
make it that it's going to be enough.
the writing of Dan, because it's not even the Tyrells that have the money; it's the Hightowers. But let's not even get into that, or else we'll be here all night.
We've saw
So
one
they
Hightower.
exist in the show.
We saw one Hightower in the show, and the Lord Hightower is still in the Hightower, just sitting in there, and we're never going to see him in the show.
But the Hightowers can't even afford to give people food that doesn't look like poop. So let's not even. Let's just
Yeah, all right. Let's just move on. All right, so back on Dragonstone, we got excuse me, John. John and Tyrion have their little powwow where Tyrion is trying to tell John, "Look, I believe you about what you're saying. You got to find some way of convincing me, so this way I can convince Daenerys on your behalf." And that's when they talk about the dragon glass. Tyrion goes and tells Daenerys, "Hey, look, the dude wants the damn dragon glass. He believes that he's fighting the army of the dead or whatever. Give him the dragon glass, and then let him go do what he's got to do. And hey, look, if he dies, basically you get his kingdom by default. If he lives, then he has everything that he owes you, and he'll probably, I mean, he didn't say this, but the implication was he'll probably bend the knee if he actually wins the war that he's talking about if you give him the dragon glass." So after this, we get Daenerys and John. They make, a small deal. It still seems that Daenerys doesn't believe him, but she took Tyrion's advice and was like, "All right, look, you're here. Get the damn dragon glass and get the hell off my island quickly before I change my mind." So, Tinker, I want to get you first on this one.
I actually really like that scene between Tyrion and John. I really like those two characters when they interact. I really like that sort of weird friendship, but not friendship, but alliance. And I kind of really like when it's just, I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite scenes, and I thought it was also actually a way of like solving the whole how the impasse between them. It is a good way, and it's true. If it turns out that it's real, the dragon glass will help her in the end because he'll destroy more White Walkers. And those dragon glass really won't be used against actual people, or against her people, or the dragon. So, and she's not going to use them for anything because she still doesn't believe. So it's a good solution. I really enjoyed it, but I've got to admit, I like Tyrion, and I like the interactions between them. The actors have really great chemistry, and it makes it very enjoyable.
All right, Jerry.
All right, so Tyrion, he still doesn't acknowledge that he's the one who fucked this whole situation up for John in the first place, but whatever. As far as John and Dany, it's the second part, of this romantic comedy that they're going to be doing with them, which is called when John met Dany. It's like when Harry met Sally. First they argue, then they start kind of being friends and working together. Then they become lovers. So that's how this is going to happen. We got the scene where they're arguing, talking about names. Now this is the first step to becoming friends. So yeah, when Johnny met Dany.
All right. LT.
Why do you always have to be difficult, Jerry?
I love the scene between John and Tyrion, and it's like he believes them, and I love that, and like the whole Daenerys and John scene when they're talking. If you notice, like when he's walking away, she looked. Yeah, like Jerry's right. This is a whole romantic comedy, and she's feeling John before John feels her, and that's pretty funny. I could tell by the look.
No.
That Gal Gadot gave Chris Pine. It's like,
no, no more incest in the family, man. No, I don't want to see John and Daenerys sleep together, man. That's his aunt.
Well,
No.
we got to see it in the show because we're probably not going to see it in the book. So let's get it in the show. I'm all for it in the show.
No. Oh. Oh hell no, man! I'm not trying to see that shit. All right, so
I mean, to be honest, that's kind of normal though. Like the whole either uncle and niece, and like we saw that with a Damon. We've seen that with another Damon. Actually, we've seen it with a lot of Damons.
Cousins is more normal than uncle and niece.
I'm just saying that from when I read in the history books, in the fake history, as George would call it.
I mean, listen. The point is, man. Like my man Ricky Hunt put in the chat room. No cest. All right, we don't want to see that shit, man. So let's move it along to Winterfell. Sansa's in charge now. She got what she wanted. She is de facto queen in the North. She's taking control. She's giving orders. She's trying to make sure that the grain supply is up to snuff because, hey, all the northern armies might have to come in and defend Winterfell, and they need as much food as they can possibly get in Winterfell. After this, we get, the nice little scene of Littlefinger telling her that, hey, you got to fight everywhere at all times. Everyone is your enemy. Everyone is your friend. Everything is war, basically. And then finally, Bran is back home, and I got a couple of things I need to say about Bran after all of you finish, but we're gonna start off with Sir LT. What do you feel about the Winterfell scene?
All right, so Littlefinger just needs to go. He needs to go. I'm tired of him. He's a snake and slithering around. I can't wait for him to die. He just gets on my nerves. Cersei, yeah, she's looking good. Noticing about the leather on the armor. Now, this was an awesome, heartfelt scene seeing Bran and Sansa, but Bran ruined it because he's a little robot. He's no emotion whatsoever. Hi, Sansa. And then when they're at the fucking Godswood, hi, Sansa. No, that just ruins it for me, man. I mean, yeah, it was a great scene, but he's a robot. I'm the three-eyed raven. I don't like it, man. I think he needs some emotion in him, man.
All right. Tinker?
It's weird that the whole speech that Peter Baelish gave, I was like, that doesn't, that's something that I would imagine book Peter Baelish would do, imagining every possible scenario. But I was like, yeah, but this Peter Baelish has not done that. There's things that have surprised him, things that he hasn't seen coming. I was like, you're trying to be book Baelish, but failing miserably at being book Baelish. It was like, that's like a good, it's weird because book Baelish doesn't give speeches. Like, the speeches that show Baelish gives are the things that book Baelish does, but show Baelish fails to do. That's how I would explain it. And I like the reunion between Bran and Sansa. Yeah, I kind of gotta admit, like, Bran maybe is a bit like unfeeling, but I kind of like that otherness of him. I kind of like the idea that he's become this three-eyed raven, and he's kind of like separating himself from like people and the world, and he's becoming like other. When Sansa says you're the Lord of Winterfell now, like, I can never be Lord of Winterfell, and he can't. He's the three-eyed raven, and he's like separating himself, like when he's like telling her what he saw her in the wedding and stuff, and she's like clearly being very, very affected, and he's completely like not at all, because he's just like completely separating himself from like the world. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Stark reunion. Although seriously, this entire episode I was thinking, do every one of them have teleporters? Because like they're clearly not at all. They don't care about the distances, the location, nothing at all. It's amazing. It's just, I was like, how the hell did he even get there so fast? But this is the show.
Ed got 20 good men to carry him to Winterfell.
All right, Jerry, your thoughts on the Winterfell scene?
Well, apparently everyone in Winterfell's pretty dumb to not know like how to do basic things that they got to tell Sansa to do. Like, hey, don't we need leather to go with that? Like, okay. And then I don't know why she's talking ridiculous, saying like Littlefinger doesn't know. Like how do you know Littlefinger? How do you know Cersei? I know you know her better. You think you know her better? You only been playing her like a fiddle, and yet you somehow you don't know. Yeah, she's just talking crazy there. Because I mean, obviously Littlefinger knows her the best because he played her like a fool. And then Littlefinger with this whole thing, it's obvious that he is the Kwisatz Haderach. We've already seen him with the teleporter. Like he can be in many places at once. He's thinking about the past and the future all at once, all at one time. Obviously, and we already saw him being the hero of the North. So, yeah, Littlefinger is a Kwisatz Haderach. It's totally obvious. We'll see what happens there. And then Bran comes, and he's like, "No, I can't take over." But I wonder how the Lords are going to feel about that. They're going to be like, "Wait, huh? This is Ned Stark's true son. How is he not taking over?" So that could cause a potential conflict, but I doubt it will because I doubt Dan and Dave will even think about it. And then now Bran is he's another Kwisatz Haderach too. He's like, "I'm everywhere. I see everything. I do everything." So he's got the Kwisatz Haderach, and now he's a three-eyed raven. So wait a minute. He's got Blood Raven inside of him. Maybe that theory is true about Bran being the Night's King in the future or something like that. That he's gone in the past and become the Night's King, and that's him now. Because maybe like Bran, when the Night's King killed the Blood Raven. It was like the quickening, and like he got the Blood Raven inside him, and now he's like ready to go. What do you think, LT?
Real quick, Willie, before you go, one thing I want to mention, how I'm saying he's emotionless, but okay, when he was in the vision seeing John as a baby, he had emotion in his face there, so he has no excuse about, oh, I'm a three-eyed raven now, I lost my emotion. So just give me a little more emotion, Bran. Come on, you're not just a three-eyed raven, you're still Bran Stark. You're both.
Hello, my name is Bran Stark. I'm a three-eyed raven now.
I got to tell Alicia Kingston that Littlefinger is Paul Atreides, and that Bran is obviously the Gola of Duncan, Idaho.
Oh, listen. Either way, Bran was up there doing the robot the entire time. Does not compute. My name is Bran. Need more input. Data not found. File corrupted. I was sitting up there like, really? When he showed up and he's just like, Sansa is sitting up there, and the funny thing about Sansa, I was trying to read the look on her face because I was like, I don't know if she was surprised, happy, or kind of like pissed off. Like, shit, this means I can't be queen now, because I was trying to read her face with that one. She hugged Bran, and Bran's just like...
Shortest reign ever.
Yeah, Bran is just like, hello, Sansa. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for him to, talk about how he ate someone's liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti with that deadpan, that whole deadpan thing that he was doing the entire time. I'm like, all right, is he Brandon Stark, or is he not Jeffrey Dahmer, but Hannibal Lecter with the way that he was talking? And
perfect reference, brother. Perfect reference.
Yeah, and then let's just go back to Littlefinger. Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is probably one of Littlefinger's best mini monologues since the Chaos is a Ladder speech. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Chaos is a Ladder was absolutely brilliant. And I don't think anything Littlefinger is going to say ever is gonna touch that. But you know what? If I'm gonna go with top 5 Littlefinger quotes, this has got to be one of them. This has got to be one of the top 5 Littlefinger quotes. Even though it's kind of come a little bit too late in the game for him, and maybe even too late in the game for the show. But I have no problem with it. But it's just that I'm like, he probably should have told Sansa this before he married her off to Ramsay Bolton.
We got a good theory in the chat. We got Ricky Hunt here. He says that in his theory, Bran is becoming Hal 9000. There you go.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's genius.
he sounded like Hal
Huh?
9000.
Hey, he might also be related to David from Covenant.
Shit, that's what it almost sounded like, man. All right. So let's move it along to the Citadel.
Good morning, Dan and Dave.
So Archmaester Ebros inspects Jorah, finds that his grayscale seems to no longer. Not only is it not spreading anymore, there aren't any affected areas. It's like, oh well, he pretty much has figured out. Like, okay, yeah, Sam did this. Sam did a pretty good job at it. And many people were speculating that Sam was going to get kicked out of the Citadel for violating the rules, and no, Sam actually gets to stay, which was surprising. But Ebros is like, look, all right, you did this, it worked, cool. Now get your ass back to copying them scrolls. So, Jerry, I'd like to get your thoughts on the Citadel.
All right. Well, I mean, it was what we expected. I mean, I think it was either you or LT that pointed out to me that there was no promise on the show from that Gior said in his dying wishes for Sam for Jorah to join, so he didn't have to tell him that, at least in the show version. So it's that part is what you expect. I did like this little quote that Sam said when he was defending himself, like when Ebros was like, well, how did you do it? And he's like, well, I read the book and I followed the instructions. You know what? That's some fucking good advice that Dan and Dave could learn something from. That's some damn good advice. And, I mean, that's not the worst punishment they could give Sam. I mean, he gets to read all these fucking ancient books and then transcribe them. I mean, at least he doesn't have to deal with the shit.
True indeed. But I mean, it was still one of those things where it's like, all right, but that's his only consequence. I mean, you know what? I actually don't have a problem with it. So don't mind me. Tinker, your thoughts on the Citadel?
Well, you already know that I'm not a fan of Jorah and I wish he would have died, but I knew it was not going to happen. At least the scene was funny. I kind of find humor in the whole, he was like saying this and that, and Jared's like, well, yeah, I think it was, the rest, and the whole, I'll have to give them that they kind of made it kind of funny. And I kind of like that at least he was acknowledged, that Sam was acknowledged that he was able to do that. Like, Sam has always been treated kind of like just the fat idiot. He's had some acknowledgement from John and from some other characters, but generally speaking, he's not treated very well or thought of that great. So he was like, "How did you do it? Many maesters have failed." I'm like, well, I read it and followed the instructions, and I kind of like that he got acknowledged that, and I didn't think he was going to get kicked out because he clearly shows talent, and why kick out someone with talent? And I got the feeling that the other maester was how he believed him and stuff. I didn't think he was going to get kicked out, but I kind of realized that, when he saw all those parchments, I'm like, yeah, he's getting at least, that's going to be boring. Although maybe not, maybe Sam will enjoy it, but it's certainly going to slow him down from his mission of figuring out other stuff for John. Although who knows, maybe those parchments are, taking account that it's done, and maybe the miracle answer is one of those parchments. How do we know? But I don't have any more to say about that. I'd have just preferred Jar would have just died.
Damn. I don't understand the Jorah hate. I don't listen. Jorah might be misguided
in the books.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he hasn't been a big loser in the show. I mean, look, is he the most perfect hero? No, the man has flaws, like a bunch of people in this damn story do. But I don't think he deserves to die for his flaws. So shame, Tinker, for shame. You want a sick man to die?
To die, and I hope he burns in 7 hells.
All right. Anyway, LT, your thoughts on the Citadel?
I remember when season one first came out, there's two girls that both told me that the actor that plays Jorah reminds them of a young Charleston Heston. Said he's really handsome. So I wonder, like, why he does get so much hate. I mean, I would think a lot of women would love him, but regardless, yeah, I'm glad they moved this along. They didn't need to waste much time on it. Jorah could get back to Dragonstone with Daenerys. I'm hoping Tinker's right. I'm hoping that Sam finds something in the scrolls. Maybe, hey, it'd be pretty cool. Like, we're all yearning for this Tourney at Harrenhal flashback. What if it's not a brand flashback? What if Sam's reading the scrolls and that's how maybe it's something about that? That'd be pretty cool. Maybe he's reading and this insight, we see it through Sam's eyes. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, well, obviously him having to do those scrolls is foreshadowing something. Uh, yeah, it could be turning Harrenhal. I mean, even though I doubt, I don't know if the scrolls would contain events at the tourney at Harrenhal, but there's still the whole thing about John's legitimacy. So, but I didn't see a Maester at the Tower of Joy. So if they happen to have something about John being legitimate in those scrolls, it would be a little out of place because there wasn't a Maester. Because remember, Ned asked for them to call a Maester, and he was like, "Oh, is there a Maester around?" No one ever said, "Yeah, I'll go get the Maester." So,
and I don't think Ned would have let anyone like write it down somewhere. Like Ned tried very, very hard to keep it a secret, and he managed it for years. I don't see Ned being able to, like, not even in the show, make such a mistake.
Will Jorah use the teleporter to get to Dragonstone in one episode? Like, will he be there next episode?
Yeah, listen. Littlefinger Travel Services is going to be working so hard. I mean, look, you know what? In fact,
was that cataract? Of course he's going to get
it. Listen. You know what? Let's think about the next scene.
Not even ride a sandworm or a grayscale worm or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, but let's just think about the next scene if you want to think about Littlefinger's Travel Services. So, we get Dany, who's talking about she wants to attack Euron. She's going to get on Drogon. She's going to take the other two dragons with her, and I'm going to go look for Euron wherever he may be. And right now, the Unsullied are going to Casterly Rock. They're going to take it over. Tyrion tells them about the secret underground caverns and his secret entrances that he's built so he can sneak his whores in and all that other stuff because Daddy wouldn't let him. And look, I must say this was a nice little montage that they had there, with the back and forth where Tyrion is explaining how the Unsullied can win Casterly Rock. But then at the end of it, it's like as soon as they win, they're like, wait, there should be a lot more soldiers here. Tyrion said we should be fighting at least like 10,000 men. I don't count anywhere near 10,000 men. And as soon as he says that, we find out that Euron has basically been tailing Daenerys' fleet the entire time and somehow was not seen whatsoever by any scouts. And
he wasn't seen. Remember, he wasn't seen. His 1,000 ships weren't seen by Asha's hundreds. Not one of his Asha's 100 ships did see him come through and sneak in. He's got like that Cobra Commander invisibility cloak on him or something.
Yeah, listen, we got Zartan in full effect. He probably, made all of his ships look like Daenerys' fleet or something like that. And it was like, yeah, we'll just make it seem like we're part of the fleet. And this way, when we unfurl our real sails, they were like, holy shit, they were here the whole time. He was the third man. So
he's the third man.
So shout out to Littlefinger's Travel Services, getting you where you need to be at all times. So Tinker, do you want to start this one off?
I kind of like the montage. I was a bit disappointed with how Castle Rock looked. Like the actual castle, I didn't find it as imposing or as unpregnable as I thought it would be.
Right.
I always imagine it kind of like being in top of like a huge rock that would make it like impossible to climb. Like I imagined it way harder to be able to take it over. It didn't look nearly as impregnable as I imagined, but I was like, oh well, okay, I'll let it go. And then while the battle was going, it was like this still seems a bit too easy. Then when Tyrion says like the little hideout, I kind of like the montage. And then the even if it was easy, they could have at least made the battle a bit more, there've been some impressive battle scenes in Game of Thrones. And right now, since the battles are happening so fast and so easy, I kind of feel a bit cheated. We didn't get to see anything, mightily impressive or anything. It's just, okay. And then we realize why. And seriously, it's going way too easy for the Lannisters. Even when they lose Castle Rock, it's because they let it be lost. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm really hoping for a reversal of fortune, because this is going way too. And like, seriously, what does he have? Like an invisible ship, or what is he, like the Dutchman that he follows them underwater and then he rises or something like that? It's getting ridiculous. Euron and his magical ship.
We explained it with this alliance with Cobra Commander, Don Willie.
Exactly. Listen, like I said, and between Zartan's cloaking, and whatever other forms of technology that they happen to have on their side. I mean, look, you're just not going to defeat Euron. He's undefeatable right now, as it stands. But all right, so
and you got to make a fucking alliance with Duke and G.I. Joe. That's the only way.
Yeah. So, Jerry, your thoughts on the taking of Casterly Rock?
I mean, other than the silly Euron stuff, I thought this was actually a pretty good scene. It wasn't. It just had like a montage of it, but you know what? At least it's better than season 1 when fucking Tyrion got knocked out and we missed everything. So at least it's better than that. I happen to think that this is going to happen probably in the books, because they had a little shout out to Tyrion being in charge of the sewage, and I don't think that's something that Dan and Dave would take into account. I think that's more of a George R. Martin thing there. So I think this might happen in the book. So that's pretty cool. Get that little spoiler there. What else do I have here? And yeah, there's not many people at the Casterly Rock. Well, you know what? That makes a lot of sense, because the fucking Lannister army should be almost decimated by this point by what's been going on in the war. They've been fighting everybody, and we'll get more to that later. And lastly, I like how now they only need 10 good men to sneak in. The numbers keep going down. First it was 20 good men, now it's 10 good men. Whatever next is going to be, it's going to be 5 good men.
Nah, next it'll just be telepathy.
Well, next is gonna be John Goodman. That's the last one.
LT.
Just have him come in. You see what this does, Walter? You see what happens? You see what happens when you fuck with another man's shit? You see what happens, Cersei?
I liked the fighting scene, but we didn't have to I like what Tyrion was saying, but they didn't need to show the fight. I wanted Tyrion not to be talking. I wanted the fighting scene to go on to be separate from Tyrion talking. Okay, if they didn't have this Euron thing, this would have been horrible to me. So there's a show called Vikings, which is on the History Channel. This show has not even half the budget of Game of Thrones, but every battle is long and satisfying. And I agree with Tinker. It's like this battle could have been a lot longer. We could have saw a lot more. The Unsullied, it's funny, like they conveniently know how to fight now, but when Barristan a few seasons ago is getting killed, they couldn't fight then, but now they conveniently know how to fight. Man, it's looking good for the Lannisters. It really is. We got to see Rock, so I give cool points there. We got to see Cassidy Rock. It wasn't as immaculate as I imagined it, but it was nice. And, it was a good scene. And Grey Worm was cracking me up. Where's the Lannisters?
Oh, man. Yeah, look, from seeing the world of Ice and Fire and what the Rock is supposed to look like in terms of, it's supposed to be a castle on top of a giant freaking mountain, You know, so the fact that it it kind of looked like it was just resting on a little hill, I was like, all right. I mean, but I did like the castle. The castle did look nice from the outside. I was expecting to see maybe a little more extravagance since it is, the Lannisters' stronghold. But like they said, they basically left the skeleton crew there because, they figured that, these guys were going to try to take it anyway. Now, the thing that I do like, and I had mentioned this, I think in our last review, either that or another video, but I was wondering, I was like, okay, how in the world are the Unsullied supposed to be getting there? Because they got to go all the way around Westeros. But, the thing that I do like, they said, is that Euron destroyed their fleet. And so from now on, if the Unsullied want to do anything, like, they're not going to be able to get supplies to Casterly Rock, and they're going to have to march back across Westeros in order to do anything from now on, because they got no ships. So
I think it's pretty obvious that the Unsullied are gonna get wiped out.
yeah,
all the Unsullied or just a portion of them?
I think all of them.
Yeah, because I think all of the Dothraki stayed on Dragonstone. So yeah, smart move by the Lannisters, and look, we saw what happened next, which was the Lannister army. The bulk of the army is in the Reach, with the Tarly forces. We got a nice little shot of Bronn, even though, no speaking part. I guess he's still waiting for his big castle, so who knows what big castle he might get now, because the Lannisters always pay their... Wait, no, don't fucking say it. Don't you fucking say it. So, yeah, and we get... Now, we got cheated out of a battle with this one. All we see is Jaime walking through. They're doing nice little cuts of him. He comes through the gate. He goes down this corridor. He goes in the courtyard. There's a bunch of dead Tyrell soldiers. And then he goes up and sees Olenna Tyrell. They have a nice little chat where she's telling him, like, yo, you know what? Dude, you're a fucking idiot for following Cersei. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? And it was kind of crazy because, she's sitting there and she's waiting to kind of play the trump card that, yes, I killed your son. Like, she's waiting until, like, the last possible second to hold on to that. Like, yeah, I'm about to tell him that I killed his boy, and, either he's going to hack me to death, or I'm just going to, die of this poison, but I'm waiting for the last possible second. So, Tinker, I know you wanted to go first on this one, so your thoughts on the taking of Highgarden?
First, we got cheated from a battle. We really got cheated. And two, that was way too freaking easy. Like, as you said, the Lannister army shouldn't be in such a great shape. Even with the Tarleys there, come on, Highgarden hasn't actually fought any battles in the show except of the Blackwater. Like,
which they won by themselves, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the only thing they've actually fought in the show, which means their army should be completely intact, practically intact. And Highgarden shouldn't have been so easy to take. Like, the Castle Rock was easier to take because part of the army was not there anymore. The majority of the army was not there anymore, and because Tyrion had a secret hideout. While Highgarden, supposedly with no secret hideout, with their army completely, practically intact, was ridiculously easy to take. And it was just, but I've got to admit, I love Olenna Tyrell. I hated that she died, but I like that she died like a boss. I love that her last moments, she was like, oh, by the way, I killed your kid, and do tell Cersei that. Oh, I love her. I love her. And Jaime does really need a kick in the ass because, seriously, he's just being an absolute idiot, and he's just so going to regret everything that he's doing. So I kind of like that Olenna Tyrell. At least she went out like a boss. She was like, I did not expect, I hadn't seen it before. I didn't expect that spectacle. Oh, everything she said was wonderful. I loved Jaime's face, how it wouldn't change. You're like, oh, well, you're going to taking my house and my family, but I'm going to kick you in the balls before I die.
Yeah, man. I was listen, the look on his face when he realized what she did, when she was like, yeah, him dying like that, that's not what I intended. And it was just like, wait, what the fuck did you just, oh hell nah. So
It was me, Austin. Me the
yeah,
whole time.
man, oh man. So LT, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm getting ready for work as we're talking. But anyways, Jamie doesn't care about Joffrey, and he admits that in the books and pretty much in the show too. So it's like I don't know why he's getting so mad. I mean, I guess it's for Cersei because he loves Cersei. But yeah, Elena was great, and it's a shame that she's gone. I'm very angry about getting cheated out of battle, as I mentioned. The show Vikings on the History Channel has half the budget of this show that is the biggest show ever on HBO. I don't know why they cut a battle. Like, why? They could have gave us a 10-minute battle, and, it would have been... This episode was... I enjoyed, but it could have been up there if we would have got a battle here, in my opinion.
Okay, fair enough. Jury.
Well, first things first. What the fuck were the Tyrells just doing hanging out in Highgarden? Weren't they supposed to be making their way down towards the Dorne? Or did they just get the message that, oh, Euron wiped out the Dorne, Yar and the Dornish? We don't... Just stay there. We don't need you right now. We don't need anything. Just chill. Just have some Arbor Red, just chill right now. Like, what were they doing? Why were they there? I don't understand. And what the fuck? How are the fucking Lannisters outnumbering the Tyrells? Like, just as I said, the Lannister army has been fucking decimated through this. The Tyrells are intact. And now they're saying that we're the Florence, too. Like, where's everybody? Like...
No, listen, whatever. Hold on. Before you continue, Jerry, you should already know at this point, there are just certain questions you should not be asking. You are not going to get the answers to those. Forget
why are we taking shots at the, like, oh, it was easy. All they do is they're the fucking ones who saved the Lannisters at the Battle of Blackwater. What do you mean they can't fight?
Jerry, I got an answer for you. You cut the head off the snake and they scatter, so that's probably the answer.
I mean, it's obvious. It's pretty obvious to me what has happened in this show. It's obvious that the fucking Cersei and the Lannisters, or Jaime, I don't know who, one of them, they went and resurrected the real Star Wars franchise, and they made a deal to find the Star Forge, and now they just have unlimited troops. And they just shoot. I don't even know why they need the Iron Bank Robinson. They just use the Star Forge. Just get everyone in there, unlimited army, kill everybody. That's the only explanation. That's got to be the truth. And Olenna, she was cool. I like when she did the fucking... I'll say it one more time. When she pulled it off, she's like, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. That was cool. I enjoyed that.
Oh, man.
It was sad. Although it was sad to see her go, especially in such a stupid way, but whatever. Dave.
But at least she she had her last words.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look, Elena, I mean, even though she may not have went out 100% on her own terms, she still went out on her own terms. She was like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and whine like a little baby about it. You want to poison me? All right, cool. Oh, yeah.
They didn't have to kill her. That's what I don't get. Like, she's not a threat. Her army's disabled. I mean, just decimated. Just, like, let her go in exile. Like, why did they have to kill her?
I mean, listen, because that's the Lannister way.
Are they scared that she's going to go to Essos and get sellswords or something?
Nah, I mean, because they took all her money. So, I mean, listen, at this point, she has no money. She has no family. What's the use of her still being alive?
I'm thinking that Jaime, in that scene, Jaime's Marlo Stanfield and Elena's Proposition Joe, and he's like, you're going to cause trouble if I don't kill you.
I mean, you know what? The Tyrells aren't even, like, I mean, they got gold, but they don't have like that much gold. Most of their wealth comes from their fucking. They live in a great land full of great vegetation, and then they got the high towers under them who do have a lot of gold because they run a port city.
Well, the show mentioned on the show, by show logic, they mentioned that they're the second most richest house.
Oh, they mentioned that this episode. Yeah, I know, just so it conveniently works for them.
No, but they even mentioned that back when Marjorie and
really?
Cersei gave that speech.
Yes, but
I thought
that world
I thought
doesn't
they said
only
wealth.
mean gold. It also means lands and crops and all those sorts of stuff. It was a world in which things were bartered a lot. Gold was just one way to measure wealth. They had a lot of food. They had a lot of crops. They had a lot of stuff.
That's what their wealth came from, like food,
That's where
crops.
their wealth came from. So they might not have had like.
That's why Marjorie was handing out food so easily.
Exactly.
We not only got cheated out of a battle, but I always said, like, if I could go to any place in Westeros, like if I got morphed there, I'd want to go to Highgarden and see it, and we barely got to see it. I really wanted to see more of it.
Yeah, and it was like, where were the gardens? We were like, Highgarden is supposed to be a place kind of like a paradise. It's supposed to be idyllically beautiful, and that was not what they showed, like, at all.
Randall Tarley's house looked more nicer looking than Highgarden.
Yeah, it did. It actually really, really did.
I mean, well, we didn't get to see a lot of the inside. I'm pretty sure, like if you, if they would have fleshed it out more, we probably would have seen that Highgarden is the shit. But listen, they did their little montage. Who knows? Maybe next episode we'll get a more sprawling look at Highgarden, other than what we got tonight. So I mean, let's not throw Highgarden totally under the bus just yet. We might get to see something more spectacular a little later. Agreed?
No, I'm throwing it under the bus right now. I doubt we ever come back to fucking Reach.
Okay, with the exception of Jerry, agreed for the rest of us? Yes, no? Okay. Anyway, all right, so ratings on the episode. It's that time of the season. Ratings.
Before that, I want to talk about the inside the episode, the HBO one.
Damn it! I haven't watched that yet, man. I didn't get to watch.
Well, basically, they just talk about how the Tyrells can't fight at all. They can't do this. Basically, so these guys, they once again fail again.
Please, Jerry, no, please spare us.
Hold on. I'm just saying another one of my top predictions is true. That's all I want to say.
Well, you know what? Listen, after the end of season 7, when we do our full season recap, we're gonna go back and explore Jerry's top 10 predictions and see how much of that actually came true. Oh, but you know what?
A few have already happened.
Well, you know what? There is one thing I do want to ask everyone, and I forgot to ask this earlier, and it's about the Bran thing. So now that Bran says that he can see everything, everywhere that ever happened, ever will happen, blah, blah, blah.
Was that cataract?
Except, it's all kind of fragmented. Do you think this is the way that Sansa learns about Littlefinger betraying Ned?
Might as well. I don't think.
I could totally see that happening that way. Sorry, Jerry.
I mean, I've told y'all.
If they're doing it that way, they might as well put it for something useful, because I really, really want her to find out.
I'm telling y'all, they have no idea what they're doing for Littlefinger or Varys or anything. So the only reason Littlefinger is still around is because they're going to plan some. This isn't even Littlefinger anymore. You can't take anything. This is not. Anything that goes on with Littlefinger is nothing but fan service that you cannot take seriously from here on out.
Okay, fair enough. All right, yeah, because for me, a lot of people are expecting that Littlefinger is going to die this season, and like I said, there are very few people who are currently alive in the show that know what he did in that throne room. But if Bran can see everything, and he's like, look, I gotta stay by the tree, so this way I can put it all together. If it isn't the Hound or Tyrion that tells about what Littlefinger did in the throne room, then it's gotta be Bran. If it's not Bran, or if it's not Bran the Hound or Tyrion that tells about what Littlefinger did, and they just happen to execute him, just because, I'm telling you guys right now, and for the people who watch later, you can go ahead and unsubscribe from my channel if you want. Don't unsubscribe from the Hypes Watch. You can go and unsubscribe from my channel. I will give that episode a 1. And I'm telling you guys right now, if they do not reveal what Littlefinger did in that throne room before they kill him, I will give that episode a 1.
I'll be right there with you. I'll be right there with you, Willie. I agree, but I think they'll reveal it.
Okay.
We'll see, but I mean, here's my prediction on that. They'll find whatever reason they find to kill Littlefinger, because I mean, at this point, it's not even really Littlefinger. It's just a bunch of nonsense at this point. So whatever reason they figure out, it's probably going to be something that's going to make people like go either jaw drop. I don't know. They're going to do something. But whatever it is, you're going to get zero reaction from the Vale. They might even still have the Vale Knights there. They'll be like, "Huh? You killed the guy leading us? Oh, okay." It's going to be that bad of writing. I guarantee it.
I mean, well, look, you know what? If it's a thing where they reveal to everyone, like, hey, hey, look, Bran can see everything. He found out about Littlefinger betraying Ned, because I'm pretty sure Bronn Jean Royce, especially after the way the Littlefinger's been treating him the past couple of seasons, he can't wait to bump off Littlefinger. So that would be the reaction from the Vale, like, oh.
I mean, the problem with that is you have to. Bronn Jean Royce isn't the one that should be. You got to convince Sweet Robin, because Sweet Robin could just say, "I don't care, you're dead, Bronn Jean Royce. Go."
Oh, come on, with the show rules.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to make sense. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm going to start laughing. I'm going to start laughing my ass off if Sansa says, "Bronn Jean Royce, kill him," and then he's like, "With pleasure," and pulls out his sword. That'll be funny.
No, that won't be funny. That won't be. But anyway, all right. Look, we're getting off on too many tangents right now. We're going deep into the woods. Let's give numbers. Starting with ladies first. Tinker, your rating for this episode on the scale of 1 to 10.
There were a few things that there was no logic, and I did feel cheated about some things. But overall, there were quite a few things that I did really enjoy. That I really. And I was so disappointed by last episode that it was just like, okay, I enjoyed this episode, so I'm going to give it a good grade. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay, all right. Sir L.T. Giles.
Yeah, last week's episode really disappointed me, but my second watch, Euron saved it with his badassery. I don't even know if that's a word, but no, this episode upped this game, and I'm giving it an 8.5.
Okay, all right, and show hater Jerry, you're waiting for this one.
It still didn't make sense. It was still full of bad writing. It was still all that, but it was better than last week's. But it didn't have Missandei in it like it did last week, so that kind of evens out. So I give it about a 6.5.
But they had Cersei.
Oh, the body devil.
All right,
not as good.
All right, so let's see here. So we got 8.5 from Tinker. We got I'm sorry.
No, Tinker gave it an 8. I gave it an 8.5.
Sorry about that. 8 from Tinker, 8.5 from LT, 6.5 from Jerry. And I'll be honest with you, I actually liked last episode a little better than this one, but I still like it better than the first episode. So I'm gonna split the difference and give this one a 7.5. So that's my rating for this episode. And let's see, what do we got in the chat? So we got
Ricky Hunt says LT is crazy and says it's a 6. The Boy Wonder 6.5. Swisher with Moni with the 7.
Yeah. Oh no, she says 7.5.
If we didn't get cheated out of a battle, this episode would have been a 9 or a 10. If I would have got a badass battle at High Guardian, I would have gave this episode a 9 or 10.
Nah, I still wouldn't have just fucking.
What a emoji with a 9. Wow. high marks for this episode. I don't know that it deserved it, Moji. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that it deserved a 9. I liked the episode. I think last week's was better though. So I mean, if you're gonna give this one a 9, Moji, I mean, I don't know.
Last week was better than this one. Are you kidding me?
To me, yes. Personally.
Last week
It did have Masandi.
It's cause come give your uncle a kiss.
All right, let's see. We got Christoph Kleemeyer, 8. Marie, 7.5. Zelda Young with an 8. Whitley Purnell, 7.5.
Sam R with the 6.
Man, oh man.
I feel like I can't win because when I hate the episode, everybody else loves it. Now I love the episode, everybody hates it, or not hates it, but you know what I'm saying.
Well,
don't like it as much.
LT Moji said that this week's episode changed the game.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, listen, Moji, that's how you feel. Look, we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section, after the episode. And look, this was, like I said, I like the episode. I thought it was solid.
We got a 10 from,
wow.
I don't know how to say this guy's name. Alamazeb Khan?
Alamazeb Khan with a 10. Lav.
Khan! What's wrong with you?
Lav with a 6. Wow.
Dang, Lav's a show lover too.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and Lav, remember the conversation we had on Twitter. Remember the convo that we had on Twitter. All right, so and yeah, shout out to
what the hell, man.
All right, so yeah, man, shout out to everybody who came and watched us in the chat, live. Shout out to everybody who is going to be watching us later on. It is sign-off time, and we are going to start off with the lady who probably really needs to get to bed because I think it's like 6 in the morning where she's at right now, right?
Yes, it is almost 6 in the morning, so yes, it's time to go to bed soon. I really enjoyed being here for this chat, especially because I actually really enjoyed this episode. Last episode, as I said, I was terribly disappointed, so it was a nice change to actually really enjoy this episode. Thank you, everyone, for watching us live. Bye-bye.
All right, Sir LT Giles, I know you got to get to work, so let's get you up and out of here.
People, don't be mad. This is a setup episode. I mean, I thought it was a really good setup episode. And the future episodes are going to probably be epic because we got 4 more left. So don't be mad. We're going to get treated to some action next few episodes. But yeah, you know where to find me.
All right. And Jeddah Targaryen Steamboat.
Steamboat here, join us at the same time, same bad channel next week. And looking forward to doing this again next week.
All right.
What the hell?
All right, and yeah, you already know where to find me at. If I'm not here, I'm on my channel, Dawn of Ice and Fire. Don't forget, Thursday night, Ice and Fire Opinion, Ned Stark. I'm gonna lose some subscribers that week. I didn't lose any for Rhaegar.
Talk about his corruption and trying to bribe the gold cloaks. So
yeah. Listen, we're gonna talk about all of it. Man. So anyway, listen, I would like to, again, thank everyone who showed up live tonight to watch this. Thank you to everybody who will be watching us later on. And for the rest, you guys already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and come back for more. That has been our time here at the Hypes Watch. And I am Don Willie saying, Valadohyrus.
Khan!